So I can start at any time. Alright. So, since I was a little kid, there's been this guy that I've grown up with, and I think that we all have. It didn't matter who we grew up with, who we hung out with, he's just always been there. And he's taught us how to make us laugh and entertain us and really given us some thoughtful advice. And he first started teaching us when we were little kids, tried to persuade us to eat some green breakfast and how to have fun on a rainy day with some crazy cat in a hat. And then now he's been leading me through high school by, I think one of my favorite quotes by him was, "Be who you are and say what you mean, because those who mind don't matter and those who matter don't mind." And if you haven't figured it out yet, it's Dr. Seuss. You know, he's probably the best poet of all. So his stories have really been a strong guidance for me throughout high school. I like to keep those words on my mind just to kind of let me know who I am and figure out what I want to do with my life. And this kind of leads me into back when I was in the 6th grade. I remember being in the health class with Mrs. Salisbury and having her tell us, she's like, "Well, you know what I think about middle school? I think that middle school is the time for you to find yourself, figure out who you really are." And I think that she was right, but I don't think that it ends in middle school. I think that we're always continuing to figure out who we really are, and especially in high school, more so than middle school. And I think that's the biggest part for me, was I just started figuring out who I was just since this past December, is when I've really become who I think that I'm going to be for a good majority of the rest of my life. And that was when I first started hanging out with my best friends, which are Fabio and Heather, that I think that most of you know, Alex Henderson, if you've forgotten who that really is. But when I first started hanging out with them, my life hasn't really been the same. I mean, how many friends do you have that you can walk over into their house without them, open up the fridge and say, "Hey, what's for dinner?" and not get yelled at, not even bat an eyelash for it? And I can do that at their house, and I think that that's really cool. And so going back to what Mrs. Salisbury said, I think that when she wanted us to figure out who we are, I think she was just encouraging us to help find our friends, because our friends are the biggest ones that shape us throughout high school. I think that what I'm going to miss most after this year about high school is just the town itself. We have such a supportive community, and our school has so much pride. Like, going back to the community, where else can you go, walk down the middle of Main Street and not get hit by a car? Or walk down in somebody's yard, pick up a basketball, start playing, shooting hoops in their driveway and not get yelled at? Because I have done that a number of times and I never get yelled at, so maybe they're not home, I don't know. But I think that's one of the things I love about Shepherd. I can remember probably the best day of my life was playing with the percussion ensemble at the Broadway Theater in Mount Pleasant this year. And having all the kids from Shepherd there, I don't know how many of you actually went to that. It was loud, and it was so difficult to get people to shut up, like when we're supposed to play, but it was probably one of the best feelings ever, having that much support there. And I think that Shepherd really did a good job with that, with raising us to take pride in ourselves and support each other in our community. There's going to be a lot of things that I miss about high school, but it's not like we're dying. Like, I keep saying that I'm a robot, I have no emotion, because I don't know if I really do, maybe it hasn't hit me yet, but I can still remember walking in my first day of school and going into Mr. Austin's class and thinking that he was the scariest man alive, and wondering, I know, no names, but you just gotta say it, so thinking that he was the scariest man ever, and how am I going to make it through his class. But I think that looking back at it now, he's probably one of my favorite teachers. I mean, I had him from pre-calc, he's completely different. And it's really funny to look back and see all the freshmen' faces when they come out, and just see the look of horror that they have that I know that I once had. And if anything, it's a continual growing experience, because I am almost absolutely positive that I'm going to be experiencing that same thing when I go to college next year. Probably going to have that prof that just scares me, like, just scares the crap out of me, and I don't even know what to do about that, but maybe they have something good to offer. It's just something that we have to deal with forever. And my advice for those of you not graduating right now is that don't get caught up in all the little stuff. Really work to find out who you are and find out who your friends are, and don't get caught up in all the little drama. You know, the boyfriend or girlfriend that you are absolutely in love with, but you're probably not going to end up with anyways. A crazy teacher that won't give you the grade that you want. You know, your parents that have way too much control, set a curfew that you don't really agree with, all that kind of stuff. You may think that you know everything, but just don't let your head get too big, because if anything, it doesn't end here. And you need to keep growing. And I know that senioritis ends a lot of people's high school careers not quite the way that they would like it. And I know that for myself, that was something that I tried to stay clear of, and it seemed to work out pretty well, having a great year. So don't give up on yourself, you know, just keep working for it, because you can achieve anything that you want. You just have to know what you want, and you have to know how to work for it. And you have to keep growing, because that's the best experience for you that you can actually have in high school. And so, if I may, I'd like to read you one last wise word of Dr. Seuss, because like I previously mentioned, I live my life based on him. And let this rest in your mind next time you're doing some kind of homework assignment that you don't think is quite worth the points. You got to put that little extra effort in. Or if you're sitting at an awards assembly thinking, man, if I wouldn't have worked so hard and I didn't get this stupid award, maybe it'd be a little shorter. Just think about that. Or when you're walking across that final stage, that lonely stage, into that last part of your life, think about these words. Okay? Congratulations, today is your day. You're off to great places, you're off and away. You have brains in your head, you have feet in your shoes. You can steer yourself any direction you choose. You're on your own, and you know what you know, and you are the guy who'll decide where to go. Thank you. Good luck.